Hi guys, welcome to the first ever episode on ELEV8. My name is Celebrity Boyfriend and I happen to be your host for the ELEV8 podcast. Our guest today is the person in charge of the social life of the students in Federal Polytechnic, Nekede, Owerri. He's no other person than Mr. Michael David, popularly known as Blue. So how you feeling today?
I feel good. Okay, good.
Okay, so we'll just go straight to our question. You last year you contested for the post of the director of socials. Am I right?
You're very much correct.
Okay, but records have it that you're more into designing, like graphic designing. Don't you think your supposed post should be the director of publicity?
Um, Not at all. I don't think so. To begin with, I'm actually a visual artist. I base more on visual artist designs, animation, and the rest. But at some point, you just have to switch. I just need to switch.
Okay, you just needed to switch.
Yeah.
Okay, let me just ask. Do you have passion for what you do, or do you envy the director of publicity or in your school?
In all fairness, I think passion is a very overrated word for me. I don't have passion for whatever I'm doing, but I just is so disciplined in whatever I'm doing. So I do not envy the publicity.
Are you sure you don't envy the director of publicity?
No,
So why are you not happy for him?
I'm very much happy. He's a very good friend. My cousin, actually.
Moving on. Now let's get down into your academics. Are you a student?
I'm student.
Okay. The last time I checked, most students don't have enough money to attain their basic necessities. But we've seen you host shows that a normal student may not be able to host. Would you like to tell us where do you get your money from to host such shows in Federal Polytechnic Network?
Okay. Um, when you started with, I'm actually a designer. I did not drop my design. I didn't just drop my arts or the crafts one side. I still do it whenever I'm chance. Secondly, and that's one of my source of income. Secondly, I'm under a body or under a government called the Student Union Government, and most of the times the Student Union Government usually help assist in one or two things. And the many ones we seek for sponsors.
So you're trying to say graphic designing gives you about a million plus to host the show.
It gives more than.
Graphic designing.
Yeah, it gives more than.
If you're watching this episode, please do well to get into graphic designing since he says graphic designing gives a million plus to host the show. So that means you're advising Nigerian students now to get into graphic designing.
I am not advising Nigerian students to get into graphic design. I'm advising Nigerian students to go into what's trending, especially let's say the tech world, because we actually advancing.
But graphic designing is giving you more than a million. A million
It does
now.
actually. Yes.
There are some Nigerian students that needs this million now. So what if you just tell them to go into the graphic designing so as to make this money too?
Okay. It's one thing to venture into or to be a designer. It's another thing to master the crafts. It's another thing to know how to like reach out to people to pay these particular bills.
So let's all agree now that you switched your path of career because you were interested in something else because you were supposed to go for either the director of publicity or something, but you switched your career from the director of publicity to the director of social.
If you followed up during my aspiration down to when I was contesting very well, which I know you didn't, you will be aware
Not
that
that you
you didn't. Because if you are aware, you wouldn't have told me that. You should have rushed and told me that I just switched to this director of social. Initially, I was going for director of sports.
So that means let's just say okay. So now we have director of sports, we have director of publicity, and now
Director of publicity was not in the picture.
we have just listen to where I'm landing now. We have the director of sports, what you wanted to contest for.
Okay.
You have the director of publicity, what you are meant to contest for.
Okay.
And you have now the director of socials, what you are.
Okay.
Like, are you just a simple question, not to be offended? Are you confused with life?
I'm not confused in life. I think the person that is actually confused in life should be you. You know why? You failed as a production manager. You also failed as a skit speaker. And now you're actually trying a podcast. This is actually I'm saying to some extent I feel you will still fail, but it's fine.
Have you watched my skits before?
I have since 2018. And you're actually very boring. I think on YouTube
Okay,
you have
let's
hold on, you have
let's-
less than 19 likes.
which of my skills do you find? Is it that it did not, my skill did not meet, would not elevate your problems, or
Sounds like that.
so problem is bigger than my skills then?
Let's simply put, you cannot make an investment.
Okay. Moving on. Moving on. Allegedly, I heard rumors flew, and I heard, not just me, we heard you made about 5 million in your show, your first show as the SCG director of socials. Allegedly, I want to ask, why is the money not showing in your body?
Okay, allegedly also, I did not leak 5 million in my show. I actually made less than 500 in the show.
Rumors have it that you're a failed graphic designer. Like when we were sourcing for a guest to invite, and my management said we should invite a director of social, I actually told them no, that you actually you failed in your path of career. That was why you switched to. So tell me, why are you not happy for the director of publicity as a failed graphic designer that you are?
Okay, fail. I guess I was able to fail in just one particular thing, unlike you.
You also failed. You also failed as a director of sports.
I never contested.
Were you influenced? Like I'm sure you bought your way into the director of socials.
If I actually bought my way, it would actually be good. At least we're not able to buy a way into the director of social city.
I actually gave my opponents I actually gave the person who won a chance to explore.
Rumor also have it that you not be a publicity work when you wanted to do SDNT. That's why there was no gate fee.
I
And you actually recorded less than 100 persons in your show. How true is it?
100 people came before the show, but they left.
Wow. You chased them away.
No, like the room was filled up. Like there was no space for them to. But that was not. The question is, why did you fail as a graphic designer? You failed as a graphic designer, then you hosted a show that failed too.
Which show was that?
Bonfire.
But there was nothing like Bonfire. Bonfire never came into existence to begin with.
But the flyer was everywhere.
It was everywhere, yes, but it never came into existence.
But it's a failed show.
It wasn't a failed show. It wasn't a failed.
But did you host the show?
If the show had started.
Define what do you understand by a failed event?
A failed event is something like you start.
But
Unlike you, but you know move further.
But you started it.
No, when I say start is okay, the very day of the show, we announced it, people were already there. At the end of the year, we cancel it.
Because it was going to be failed.
Not because it's going to be failed. Like for instance, now let me break it down. For instance, you started production, you failed. You went into production, you failed.
That is
you
my
started
production team.
Okay. You're skit making. You went into it, you failed.
So as a director of social, what legacy do you plan on leaving as a director of social before you graduate?
One legacy I try and I'm still working on is I want to live behind. I want, even after I'm done with school years back, I feel like you, like those people, like me, who were like me actually introvert people, there are other things you can actually do outside. Like the other fun don't necessarily have to be inside to like have your own fun. You can come outside, experience something, and have a fun outside of life. Like especially with works, we actually put things together. There's a deep parts we're actually putting together, which I don't want to disclose for now. So that's what I can see. I think that would be the legacy. Alright, so before your tenure end, because I believe your tenure is going to end very soon. So before your tenure end, are there any big plans you wish to give to the Nigerian student before your tenure ends? Yeah, like I said, yes, we're working on something very huge at this school stadium. It's more like supplementary for yeah, inside school stadium. So you're telling us to anticipate for the yes, it's more like a bonfire. Bonfire is going to be a rave party. But right, so what advice will you give to your successor that is coming into the post as a director? What advice would you give to him? I would tell him that all that he does are not good, but he has to look for school. And he should not depend on the union, or he should just be creative. He should just be creative. Think outside the box. Okay, so you're gonna tell him all that glitters are not gold. He should look for his own gold. Did you find your own gold? I should think of it. So there's gold in Federal Polytechnic. I think there's gold in everywhere you go to, all cities. Like there's gold in Federal Polytechnic. There is gold. Depending on what interprets gold as. Okay, depending on what interprets gold as. Yeah. So just one more question. As that also shall use your post to touch the life of students, like helping them, finance them for some little things. Yeah, even before I became director of social, I have been using myself to touch life. I have paid fees, bought textbook, I've done several things which I really don't like mention now.
For
For Nigerian
both male
students,
and
male and
female?
female.
All right. So, what advice will you give to struggling Nigerian students? Will you tell them to quit school? Will you tell them to keep pushing and
I think in all, I will tell you guys to learn a skill. The world is actually, we are actually drifting and the train is moving. And if you are not very cautious, you'll be just in the behind. Learn a skill, acquire a skill as much as possible. Possible skill you can actually acquire that skill. Just learn something.
okay? So, are you open to accepting Nigerian student learning a skill from you?
Why not? Why not?
Okay, so if you're a Nigerian student and you want to learn a skill, kindly comment under this video and the skill you want to learn, possibly graphic designing, tech skill, or whatever skill you want to learn. I believe the director of social from Federal Polytechnic would be willing to teach you for free, right?
For free.
For free. He's actually a good person, so he's going to teach you for free. So I really appreciate you for taking your time to come to this, our first ever episode on Elevate. We look forward to having more amazing guests like you.
Thank you very much.
Once more, thank you for your time. So, viewers, thank you for your patience. Thank you for your time. We are really grateful for you taking your time to watch our first ever episode on the Elevate. I still remain your humble host, celebrity boyfriend. See you next Friday.